Now, a cross-party group of MPs who've united to form MPs for a Deal have said that there is enough time to achieve a Brexit deal and get it through Parliament.
Well, the group's made up of former Conservative MPs who were kicked out of the party last week and Labour members. Stephen Kinnock is one of them. He joins us from Westminster now. Stephen Kinnock, a very good day to you. So a single-issue cross-party caucus, how big?
Well, the numbers are growing. It's very difficult at the moment in Parliament to get people to put their heads above the parapet and actually say, well, this is where I am and this is where I want us to go. But I can say that we've had a solid group of 30 Labour MPs from the start. There are many, many more who would like to come forward but are perhaps on the front bench or for whatever reason haven't done so. And of course, then you have all the Conservative MPs who voted 3 times for a deal. That's 92% of the Conservative parliamentary party. What we are making clear is that the deal that we're talking about here is not the deal that failed to get a majority in Parliament, but what emerged from the cross-party talks that came afterwards. And of course, that's full of concessions to Labour on a bill on workers' rights, environmental standards, a whole range of very attractive offers for Labour there. So what we're saying is that package is on the table. It's been agreed with the EU 27. It's time to get real now and recognise that something which is a basis for a deal is there, and that the Prime Minister has to grasp that with both hands.
Rumours, no more than that, circulating in Westminster, were told this morning about returning to an original deal where the backstop would only apply to Northern Ireland. I'm not sure whether that deal is the version you're talking about that includes some of the concessions rung by Labour backbenchers, but would it be of interest potentially to you and your friends?
Well, on the backstop, you've of course got the Alternative Arrangements Commission, and the backstop, to be frank, has always been much more of a problem for the Conservative Party than for the Labour Party. I've never met a single Labour MP who has a problem with the backstop. So what I would say to the Prime Minister and other Conservative colleagues is, get your house in order on that, sort out the issues on the backstop. As long as there is something in there which protects peace in Northern Ireland and the Good Friday Agreement, Labour MPs will support it without hesitation.
Might the chill wind of a looming general election, particularly in those Labour heartland constituencies in the north of England, for instance, where, according to the polls, the Brexit party stands to do very well, perhaps do you think that might help some of your backbench colleagues to reconsider?
Well, I hope so. Of course, in all of this, the government has the upper hand. It's still up to the Prime Minister to come forward with a proposal. But he is boxed in. He has 3 options now. He can either break the law, or he can resign, or he can do a deal and bring that to Parliament. And it's
your party leader
clear.
could have agreed to a general election that he begged for.
Well, we are where we are on the general election. The fact of the matter is that it is the Prime Minister's attempts to get a general election have been blocked, and he now needs to decide, is he going to break the law, or is he going to resign, or is he going to bring forward a deal? And what MPs for a Deal that we launched today shows that the centre wants to hold. We've had enough of Parliament and politics being paralysed by its extremes. We've had enough of the tail wagging the dog. There is a silent majority of parliamentarians that recognise that the only way we're going to reunite our deeply divided country is to respect the result of the referendum, but to do so on the basis of a deal that protects jobs and livelihoods. That is the compromise, and it's time for British politics to rediscover the lost art of compromise.
Well, I mean, it's been suggested, isn't it, that, hasn't it, that the Prime Minister has been going through the motions that compromise, the lost art or otherwise, that you suggest the Prime Minister ought to be looking at is not one he's taken seriously. It's been a sham, according to some sources. How seriously do you think the Prime Minister has taken negotiating a deal?
I would like to see much more being done. I thought it was very encouraging that he went to Dublin yesterday and he said no deal would be a failure of statecraft. So it's clear that the Prime Minister still is at least saying that he wants to get a deal. He has to sort out the issue of the backstop, and we are here to remind him that Labour was against the first 3 iterations of this, the meaningful votes, because of the lack of clarity about the future relationship. We weren't prepared to give Theresa May carte blanche. We begged Theresa May to have the cross-party talks. She finally did it. There were 6 weeks of very serious talks that produced a number of really important concessions and changes around the political declaration on the future relationship. Labour should be supporting those now and sending a clear message on the political declaration on the future relationship. The cross-party talks give us what we need. You sort out the backstop, put that package together, bring it to Parliament urgently, and there is a majority in Parliament to put this through.
Frances O'Grady told me yesterday that she felt there was a serious risk of civil unrest in the event of a no-deal Brexit. Might the opposite be said as well, that if Brexit doesn't happen, then it's thwarted by a mixture of parliamentary reluctance and inertia, that you may get civil unrest in the opposite direction? Does that worry you?
Yeah, that's a big worry. And as I said, we're so deeply polarised and divided now. And there are those who want no form of Brexit at all, and then those who are more sort of ideologically ready to embrace the idea of no deal. Those two extremes do not represent the majority of opinion in Parliament or in the country. And a compromise isn't something where everybody's going to be jumping up to the rafters saying, isn't this wonderful? A compromise is a proposal that the greatest number of people can live with. And it's on that basis that democracy works and that democracy can survive. It's time now for us to have a general election, that's absolutely clear, but it must be a general election after the issue of Brexit has been put to bed, so that we can get back to the bread and butter issues that really matter to the people in my constituency: jobs, education, the health service, the future of our communities, bringing people together again. That's what a general election should be about. It should not be another proxy discussion about Brexit.
Stephen Kinnock, appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.